All right, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Mind the Moment's Thursday morning mindfulness session brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. And as we all know, this is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our lives. I am Suzanne Rowe, Palacino, and I'm happy to be here every Thursday with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be with you this morning.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody joining.
Yeah.
So, as always, today we'll start off with a question for the group. And then Tara will start us in a little discussion and then lead us in a guided meditation practice. And after that, we'll have time for questions. So if you would like to go to the bottom of your screen where it says chat and just check your settings. If you're interested in seeing panelists and attendee comments, you can just click that drop-down menu and choose panelists and attendees. And we'll be going through, Tara's going to be taking us through a kind of a back to the basics kind of a discussion on mindfulness. So if you think of any questions right in the very beginning and want to type those in, feel free to do that as well. Okay, so that's it for that portion. And Tara, I guess we'll start us off with a question.
Yes, yeah, just as a way to check in with everybody. So March is Sleep Awareness Month. So that's kind of going to be the focus of this month for us. And so I wanted to just ask folks, do you have a bedtime ritual that you think is important towards sleep, or enhancing or promoting sleep, or even maybe something that you're sure that you do during the day that you know is going to help with sleep? And so while everybody is thinking, and again, I just want to underscore what Suzanne said. My default in chat is just to panelists, so I have to switch it to panelists and attendees, which I just did. So it would be great to, for those of you that want to share your comments, to just make sure that that's checked. And so as you're thinking about, what is something that you do that really enhances or supports sleep on a daily basis, I actually want to start with you, Suzanne, while folks are thinking. Is there anything that you do that you think ultimately helps you sleep a bit?
Yeah, so I would say during the day, I find that I need to have some kind of pretty intense kind of exercise, even if it's just for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I think my body just needs that to just keep itself regulated.
Yeah.
And then at night, I like to read before I sleep. And if I'm really having trouble sleeping, I do go through a body scan and
nice.
do that. But I really do like to read before sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming in. I'll just quickly offer mine as well. And one thing that I have been reading a fair amount about is the importance of daylight for your eyes, like to be outside in daylight, that actually supports your sleep. And I thought, wow, that is so interesting. So I've been really conscious of making sure that I can get outside and like take in the daylight into the retina, into the eyes. And then like, I love bedtime tea. So most nights I'll have a cup of like a bedtime tea, but there's a lot of things coming in I'd love to see.
So no phone or tablet after 8, which is that blue light can be problematic. Wind down by reading a book in bed. Try to eat at least 3 hours before I go to sleep. Listen to a calm body scan. It completely unwind. I try without a lot of success to limit screen time before bed. It can be challenging.
Yeah. Wow. This is great, everybody. There's a lot of helpful ideas, I think, for all of us to, really nice.
Yeah. I like keeping a to-do list. Helps me feel like I don't have to remember things. And writing it down helps me to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, there's the lighted candles too. So there's a lot around dimming lights as it gets darker. You know, if you have the option to kind of dim lights, that in addition to getting enough daylight, dimming lights in your house, that's really helpful. So yeah, I mean, I think there are things we can do that are not too like taxing and that are really kind of at the ready for us. So thanks everybody. Another helpful thing is a body scan, which is what I'm going to take you through right now. A body scan before bed, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, is really helpful. And then, as Suzanne said, that when we're done, there'll be time, you know, for questions and more sort of back and forth. But what I want to do is kind of go back to the basics before we do the body scan, which is a form of mindfulness meditation that is just the ability to, it supports our ability to flex our attention, and it helps the body get ready for bed, and when you wake up also to use it. But what I want to do is just say a little bit about what mindfulness is and what meditation is, because there is so much misconception about it. And so in a very brief way, I'll do that now, but we'll have time for questions after. So to really think of mindfulness as a quality of mind that is just awake and aware, and that actually knows it. So the opposite of that is when you're lost in thought. And think about, like, many times during the day, and research actually shows that just shy of 50% of our waking hours, we are in rumination of the past or the future, which is the consequence of that is a disconnection from our moments. But to notice that the difference between being awake and aware and knowing it is when we're lost in thought. The moment you wake up from the trance of thought, you are now awake, you are aware, and you know it. The second part of the definition is I think, really instrumental to understanding what mindfulness is, because you're awake and aware and you know it with a particular attitude in the mind. And that attitude is one of receptivity, of curiosity, and of interest to whatever is happening within and around. And so commonly in our common culture, the definition, you'll often hear the word non-judgmental. And really, to understand, I never use that term, because what non-judgmental actually means is receptivity, an attitude of receptivity, curiosity, and interest. That's what it means. So the idea is that when we're practicing and we see the judging mind, instead of thinking we're doing it wrong, we actually allow for it, back up, receive it, and just feel like what's going on in the body when judgment is happening. So nothing is outside the scope of mindfulness. So non-judgmental does not mean don't judge. All it means is receptivity, bring receptivity, curiosity, and interest as an attitude in the mind. So mindfulness is awake and aware and knows it with an attitude of receptivity, curiosity, and interest to whatever is happening. Meditation is the exercise routine for the mind, for lack of a better term. It's where we are aiming and sustaining our attention on a sound or on a body sensation and coming back to that as an anchor. So thoughts arise, we come back to the sound or to breath sensation or another body sensation, just repeatedly over and over again. It doesn't mean don't think or stop thought. It just simply means when we've decided to go into formal meditation, whether it's a sitting practice, a standing practice, or a body scan, which we're going to do in a moment, we see we've gone into thought, not a problem. We just return. The mind is a thought generating machine. So we're just honing it in. We see we're in thought. We're like, oh, thinking, and bring the attention back. You're not doing it wrong when thoughts are occurring. So I just want to emphasize that. And let's go ahead and do a body scan meditation, which is a form of mindfulness practice and one that ties in with this notion of sleep. So you want to, you can sit, you can stand, or you can lie down. I caution you a little bit with lying down because it's suggestive of sleep. and it's easy to fall into sleep, which in this case, we're going to do a body scan, and the goal is not to sleep, but this can be used before bed. All right, so settle into the posture that feels most supportive of you, that the posture that you feel is going to serve you best for this just about 10 minutes of practice. Take a couple of deep breaths on your own, very deeply in through the nose and slowly and a little longer out through the mouth. Do 2 of those at your own pace as a way to settle any surface tension. And we'll begin the scan of the body by bringing attention to the very top of the head and noticing any sensations at the top of the head, or aware of no sensations at the top of the head. So letting your awareness, your attention rest at the very top of your head. What's there or possibly not feeling something is perfectly normal and something to be aware of. And begin to bring the attention down the sides of the head, including the ears. And holding your attention in this particular part of the body, isolating this region, and just noticing sensation or lack of sensation. And bringing awareness to the back of the head, isolating this region, and just seeing what's there. And moving attention now to the face, and starting with the forehead, including the eyes, scanning down over the nose and the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, and the tongue. Softening the muscles of the face to the degree that you can, and noticing what's there. Sensation or a lack of sensation. Bringing awareness down to the neck and the throat, the sides of the neck, the back of the neck. Isolating this region of the body. Coming down over the shoulders and the upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands, both the left and the right. Softening the shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands to the degree that you're able. And noticing sensation or lack of sensation. Perhaps there's a point of contact with the arms and hands and another part of the body. And just see if you can notice that point of contact. And bringing awareness to the torso. So the front of the body and the back of the body. Maintaining a spine that is straight if you're sitting or standing. Just bringing awareness to the sensations that you're noticing or lack of sensation in this larger region of the body. And coming down over the hips and the thighs, both the left and the right. And isolating this region of the body in your field of awareness and noticing points of contact, noticing sensation or perhaps lack of sensation. And releasing that part of the body and moving awareness to the knees. And let's just isolate the knees, the front, the sides, the back. Noticing sensation or lack of sensation. And bringing awareness to the lower leg and to the shins and the calves. Isolating this region of the body, softening to the degree that you can, and noticing sensation or lack of sensation. And releasing that region and moving attention to the feet, both the left and the right, and the ankles. So noticing if there's a point of contact and you're noticing that subtle point of contact, thus the pressure that you feel, or any other sensation in the feet, and that could include temperature or tingling, whatever. You're like a scientist and the subject, investigating with curiosity and receptivity to whatever is happening. And releasing that. And just for a moment, returning awareness to the whole body, aware of points of contact, aware of the expression of any other kinds of sensations, whether that's temperature or pulsing or vibration, holding awareness over the whole body. And just for a moment, noticing the rhythm of your breath. Just noticing the body inhaling and exhaling, the expansion and contraction of the abdomen. However, your breathing is fine, whether it's slow or rapid or shallow or deep, it's all fine. And in just a moment, you'll hear the sound of a chime, and you can move awareness from body sensation to the sound. See if you can track the sound of the chime all the way out until you can no longer hear it. And as you feel ready, if your eyes happen to be closed, you can open them and maybe take just a little bit of a stretch, a deep breath. And just to know, that this is a practice that can be done before bed. If you wake up in the middle of the night or anytime during the day that you do it, the purpose wouldn't be to fall asleep during the day, but just to show you that this is another form of mindfulness meditation where you're just learning flexibility of attention. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tara.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions or comments in general about meditation, mindfulness, just go ahead and type those into the chat. And I know what came to mind to me when we were sitting as well as earlier is on Tuesday, we were talking about acceptance. And I thought we had a really great talk with Paul about acceptance.
Yes, yes.
And I started to think about, the difference between the word acceptance and allowing. And
Yeah.
and how, I don't know, how that sits with folks. And
yeah, it's an important distinction, Suzanne, because I don't know how many were on that call on Tuesday with Paul, but there was a question at the end that we didn't have time, that there wasn't time to address about, this idea of like, I don't want to accept, things that we don't like. I mean, and I think what I want to say about that, because this is a really important distinction, is that you're not saying, I like this and I'm happy it's here. It also risks passivity. More of what I think we're trying to do. So the word acceptance, I think, is can be a confusing one, is see the truth of how things actually are. So I think I believe from my own direct experience that this practice helps us to relate and engage with things and to see clearly how they actually are. So when things happen that we don't like, we have things we wish we didn't, or we want things that we actually can't have, how do we relate to that? And I think it's more of seeing it, I don't want this thing, or I do want this thing. And then seeing what attitude are we bringing to that. And if we're bringing angst and dislike, and I don't want this, that should be in the scheme of things. We want to see that. And we want to, because ultimately, I feel like this practice offers us discriminating wisdom to get more clarity about what we can influence and change, and then those things that we just can't. So in part, I would say it is that discriminating wisdom.
Yeah. Allowing is being resigned to something so different than accepting. Someone made a comment.
Allowing is resigned to it, so different than accepting. Yeah, it's, sometimes the semantics of words are tough. So I'm trying to really get at the concept, just the concept of seeing the truth of how things are, and then how we are relating to it. So if we're relating with fear and angst, we want to actually see that.
Someone asked to just to clarify what March, what awareness month it is, and it's sleep awareness.
Sleep awareness month, yeah. And which is why the body scan was the practice today.
Yeah, and someone else also mentioned that the body scan keeps the attention. However, the instant I finish the body scan, I begin to fret.
Yeah. And again, like with this, in the spirit of allowing, we back into and see if you can come out of the narrative. Fretting is often a narrative of worry or regret, or, we've all had some version of that. Can I feel it in my body? Which again is why a body scan is so helpful, because we're really learning to tap into where is that fret showing up physically. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you wake up in the middle of the night and start fretting, the fretting doesn't get us it doesn't get us what we want, which is relief. That, and again, like these practices are empirical in nature. So you want to test everything you're hearing and not blindly believe. So what if I see the fretting, drop the narrative to the best of my ability and feel what's happening in the body, and then bring metta or loving kindness, just the offering of, may I be well, may I have ease. Even if you don't feel it, the intention is to feel it for yourself.
Mm. Yeah. And I know we were talking about this earlier, Tara, that it's a interesting concept, but that we are not our thoughts, and
Right.
we do have the ability to say, okay, I might be thinking that now, but that I don't have to. I do have a choice. And
Yeah.
maybe doing these periods of mindfulness, or periods of coming back to our breath, can help us get away from, kind of release
Yeah.
those thoughts. But just
And
know
I think, yeah, I think in alignment with that, Suzanne, too, is that, every thought, emotion, and body sensation has a birth, does its thing, and it moves. And we learn that all of these things have an impermanent nature. And that's such a deep understanding in this practice. Like the more we sort of get that. I mean, have you ever woken up in the morning and woken up and been, I think I'm supposed to be worried about something, but I can't remember what? Like,
Mhm.
so we can laugh at ourselves too. This is the, and also, like, not to forget that there is sort of a primal instinct toward a negativity bias. It's a very primal instinct. It kept our ancestors alive. And we store those memories more readily than we do positive experiences. And yeah, like Rick Hansen, he's like a neuropsychologist, has a really good phrase around, positive things are like Teflon. They slide off and they don't actually store in our memory as well. But the negative things that happen store much more readily. And I think, again, there's like a primal reason for that, to keep us alive, but we can retrain.
Yeah. Well, speaking of impermanence, we need to wrap up for the morning.
Anything else before we wrap? Does anybody have a question that is sort of amazed at how I can remember the bad from 15 years ago? Yes. Yeah. And if you're interested in Rick Hansen and more of his work, he does phenomenal work in this area. Or even like if anybody's ever gotten feedback on something and there were like 50 good responses and one was a negative, the negative one is often the one that stays with us. So it's like, that's also something that we can kind of bring to bear in our practice, and just feel that and even question it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend recently gave me a book that every day you write down three good things that happened, or even just three things during the day that happened, so you can go back and remember certain things.
Yeah.
That can be helpful too, is something like that. If you have a record of some of these positive things, you can go back and say, you know what, my life has been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so we do need to wrap it up. Thank you so much for everyone for the great comments and questions. We really appreciate seeing everyone.
Yeah.
So a couple ways to keep in touch with us as your week progresses. Every Tuesday and Thursday we're here, and at 8:30. So please continue to join us on our website at Living Well at Home. You can see yoga classes and Zumba classes real time, and also wellness webinars. And also we have partnered with mindful.org and offered some pain management resources. So you can find those on mindful.org/pain, both in English and in Spanish. Check us out on our Facebook page, Mind the Moment, and also find these sessions and older sessions, and also some interviews Tara has had with people in the field who have researched mindfulness. And you can find those all on the YouTube page, Mind the Moment, under the video tab. So thank you so much, everyone, again.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have you here. We're happy to sit with you and to have the opportunity to sit with Tara. And thank you so much, Tara.
Yes, yeah.
And we hope to see everyone on Tuesday and twice a week here. So see you soon, everyone. Thank you again.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.